Personal finance expert and MeVest founder Lesley-Anne Scorgie joining us on Canada Now. And Lesley-Anne, your latest article in the Star discusses how to take advantage of the housing market chill as a first-time millennial buyer.
So we're seeing that the prices might not be as high as they were just a couple of months ago. So some of this has to do with rates nudging upward. Who knows where they're going? I wish I had that crystal ball. If I did, I would tell everybody on the air where we're headed. But we do expect some more rate increases. This is in an effort to help chill the housing market a little bit and to kind of soak up all of the inflation out there. As a millennial first-time buyer, which that is the bulk of first-time buyers, of course, they're looking at this thinking, maybe owning a home is now back in my sights because they have been feeling for so long now priced out of the market.
So you give them some advice. And first thing is comb through your budget to see where you can reallocate money towards saving for that home purchase.
I call these budget busters. If you really want to get serious about buying a house, you cannot have unnecessary subscriptions, money kind of disappearing into the vortex of whatever you're spending on takeout. You've got to go line by line and find opportunities to trim where you can. So with these, the savings that you're going to come up with, you're allocating it into two different buckets. One is the bucket for your down payment. The other is you do need to tidy up any debts, because if you go into home ownership, you're way better off like financially, but also in the mortgage application process with fewer, more tidy debts, if you will.
We often talk about putting together a budget, and you talk about your next step to begin saving for your down payment. Set up your savings schedule.
And automate it. So we do recommend minimum 10, if not 20% toward a down payment. That does mean that you're looking ahead. Is this happening in 5 years, 4 years, 3, 2, 1? And then you work it back. So how much do I need to be putting away every single paycheck in order to build this down payment? Here's the other tip I have. Right now, intergenerational giving is so huge. If the option to get money to help support this home purchase is on the table, you should take it, because we see that that is a great way for millennials to get into the market. But we talk about it all the time, budgeting, budgeting, budgeting. You've got to work these numbers into your budget on regular occasions. You can use your tax-free savings account. You can use the RRSP first-time home buyer plan. And possibly very soon, we will have that new product that was just announced by the liberal government. It's called a tax-free first home savings account. Sometime in the future, we'll talk more about that, but we're still waiting to get more details on what's going to happen with that account and how advantageous it's going to be for first-time home buyers.
All right, look forward to hearing more details on that. Now, you might have to purchase something smaller before getting your dream home.
Right. So I know that we all want bigger, better homes. Like, I want a bigger home. But sometimes it is actually better, if you're really serious about getting into the market, to get in on a smaller scale. So it might be a condo or townhouse versus a semi-detached or detached home. And that is your stepping stone into the home buying market. The other cool thing is, I write for the Star, and the Star did a really interesting poll recently on creative ways that millennials and Gen Zs are buying, and co-ownership is coming up. So they're buying with friends and family. Here's my tip on that. Be really careful. There are some strings attached whenever there's more than one party, if you will, at play.
And being careful also includes getting protection as a homeowner, life insurance, and a rainy day fund.
Yeah, so I thought this was pretty timely. RBC Insurance put out a new set of data on myths to do with life insurance. And we know these myths are actually keeping millennial buyers away from buying life insurance. So let me be clear. If you are a millennial, whether you own a home or not, there is a very strong chance, because I know how old you are, that you have some assets and debts and you will need life insurance. It's cheaper the earlier you get it in life, and it's also a lot more affordable. So the myths are that, hey, I don't need it because I don't have kids. And the second myth is that it's way too expensive. Here's the scoop. If you are even inching remotely close to home ownership, you have to have this in place. It's just too dangerous not to have it into place. And the other protection is you've got to set up that rainy day fund. So rainy days, they happen. Look at what just happened. The pandemic taught us that rainy days can last for 2 years. And so we need to have some savings in the background. And we've touched on this already, automate that savings. So it takes time to build that rainy day fund. My advice, do it before you become a homeowner, because let me tell you, I've bought a few homes in my history, and without fail, like the first 3 months that I move in, something happens to that home, whether it was like the slapstick renovation that happened right before you bought, like 20 minutes before you bought, and like something falls off the wall. I literally, in this home that we bought a couple of years ago, the light fixture in the dining room came down on the table.
Whoa.
Yes. And that's how we unearthed that not only was it not secure, but there was actually no electricity running to that particular light fixture. So this stuff happens, and those rainy day funds, it's exactly like the example I just gave you.
Yeah.
That is what you need.
Yeah, as absurd as that is, you're an example. Those things happen. Final tips: don't buy too much house. Remember to budget for closing costs and set your mortgage free date.
Absolutely. And really, when I say mortgage free date, it could be 25 years down the road, but vision, my friends, it's all about vision when it comes to money. And this is part of the financial planning process. Uh, just vision of where you want to be, because it's going to be very helpful as you're getting closer to that mortgage free date.
Now, another recent piece of yours in the Star discusses rekindling workplace enjoyment. Yeah, you have 5 techniques on getting closer to enjoying work again. Firstly, make sure that you're getting paid what you're supposed to be paid.
Yes. And isn't this even more relevant coming off of the topic we just discussed? So what we're seeing in workplaces right now is money rules the roost. It is not about a foosball table. It's not about meditation rooms. The staff, contractors, full and part-time, they want money, because guess what? They're looking at high home prices, like extra high inflation and cost of living. So gone are the days where recruiters could say, oh, well, we pay a little bit under market, but our corporate culture and how fun it is makes up for the money. Not anymore. That doesn't cut it. Money rules. And I think when employers and employees are trying to rekindle, it's two-way, right? We're going to have to see employers come up with at least the market rate for pay, and employees, you'll need to be on top of this. If you haven't asked for a raise or promotion for a while, it's time.
Yeah.
Turns out 65% of managers are actually willing to give a raise, but they don't bother because the employee or contractor doesn't ask.
Yes, that's right. If you don't ask very often, you're not going to get what you want.
Totally.
So feel comfortable in your own skin and in value yourself in asking and in looking for what you could be getting. Now, in paying for benefits, you remind us as well, look for them to include financial well-being.
That's right. So there are so many calls from employees and contractors now, and they're saying, give me flexible benefits for the traditional stuff, so glasses and prescriptions, but I also want financial wellness to be included. So this could be coaching investment fees, financial literacy training. I think it's amazing. And I'm actually starting to see this in my own business, where we're seeing that some workplaces are covering the costs of trainings and books and things like that. How relevant is that going into your future? And we know that when employees are financially well, they're way more productive at work. So it's a win-win all around.
Another thing in moving forward, especially in this world that we live in now, is to proceed working in a way that maintains productivity and flexibility.
Totally. I don't know that going back to the office or not going back to the office is the right thing. It's going to be dependent on who the employer and the employee is. Here's my advice. If you're not sure what's right for you, just ask, because employees and employers are going to say what they need. Remember, productivity comes in many shapes and sizes. And when a person is productive, it's in an environment where they can kind of tap into their creativity and be more productive. So wherever that is, I think that's the new way of work going forward.
Yeah. And if you are going back to work, it's an opportunity to close your screens and to talk to people again. And with all of that as well. And I think it's sage advice if you're working from home, even as much so as return to work. Take your breaks, because
Absolutely.
I know working from home, there can be hours and hours and hours in which I'm not taking a break because I'm home. I don't have to leave. I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. How about take a break and talk to a human? That's my advice, right? Like, taking breaks is key to avoiding burnout. And also key to avoiding burnout is connection with other people. Close your Zoom screen, stop sending text messages, go and talk to others. Even if you wear a mask, if that's what you need to do, you do what you need to do. But that connection is key to better communication. It's key to you getting the next raise. And taking a break, remarkably, is also key to you advancing, because we want you to avoid burnout. So this is all about happier employers and happier employees, finding that like rekindled connection again. My best advice here is, if you are an employee who just hates your job, right? You hate the way that it's going, or maybe the money that you make. Life is too short. Move on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Especially if after all this, you're getting all the things you want, you're still not happy, maybe it's time to go. Check out mevest.ca, personal finance expert, Mevest founder, and Hank and Dot's mom, Lesley-Anne Scorgie. Lesley-Anne, a pleasure as always, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Jeff.